Hey guys, this is Cassidy. I'm a program facilitator specialist for the Girl Scouts of Western New York, and I just came on today because I want to show you how to make galaxy slime for Science Week. So there's a few things that you'll need. First of all, you're going to need about a half of a cup of glue, okay? You're also going to need some measuring spoons and some baking soda, which I have here. And then if you want it to actually be galaxy slime, you're going to need some food coloring and possibly some biodegradable glitter. I say biodegradable because, regular glitter, it can be a microplastic and that's bad for our environment. And then finally, you're going to need some sort of saline solution that has boric acid in it. So if your saline solution does not have boric acid in it, then or sodium borate, it's not going to work. So it's really important that you check the ingredients on this. And then finally, you're probably just going to need something to stir it with. I've used my fingers in the past, but it's a little bit less messy if you use a stick. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to measure out your half of a cup of glue. I would probably put it in a slightly bigger container than this, but this is what I have that's clear, so I wanted you to be able to see it as I make it. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to add approximately 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. So you're just going to start with it like that, and you're going to add it to your glue. Now, with baking soda, you never really know exactly how much you're going to need, so I always start with less because you can always add more later, but if you add too much baking soda in, your slime is going to get really hard and stiff, and it's not going to stretch, and no one really wants that. So you're going to go ahead and stir in this baking soda, just like that, and then you're going to add your teaspoon of water. So water, when you add it to your slime like this, it has the potential to make your slime a little bit stretchy, but if you put too much in, your slime will be too wet. So again, it's about sort of starting lighter, and you can always add a little bit more later. And something really important to remember about slime is that, whatever you put in, you can't take out. And once your slime becomes hard and stiff, there's nothing you can really do to fix that. So you can't go back and add water or add more saline solution to make it softer. Once it's hard, it's hard. So you really want to err on the side of caution. And the measurements that I've given you, those are just a guideline and a good starting point. But you may need a little more saline, you may need a little more baking soda. It just really depends on the exact amount of glue you have and the materials you've used. So once you've stirred in that baking soda and that water, then this is where it gets kind of fun. So you are actually going to add approximately a tablespoon of your saline solution. So I'm just going to pour it into here. I'm going to do it over here. So the saline solution is what we call the activator, because once you put this in, your glue is going to really start to become slime. And the reason that is because the borate ions in the saline solution, they react with the glue and create a completely new substance. It's called like a Newtonian fluid. It's not quite liquid, it's not quite solid. So you're going to add that. And now you can carefully start to stir in your saline. And immediately you're going to start noticing that your slime starts forming, okay? So just kind of take it easy, go nice and slow. At this point, I highly recommend just still keeping it in the cup. Some people like to take it out at this point, but I like to make sure it's kind of pulling away from the cup before I take it out, just to avoid a mess. And also, sometimes people like to put in the food coloring before they add their saline solution, and that's totally fine. But I find that the galaxy effect that I get is a little bit more, it's a little bit more achievable if you wait until your slime is formed to add your food coloring. So at this point, my slime is pulling apart from my cup pretty easily. As you can see, there's almost nothing left in the cup, and that's great because that means I can actually reuse these cups later, which is great for sustainability. So my slime is totally formed now. I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up just to show you. At this point, if it's sticky at all, you can just add a little bit more saline solution bit by bit, or put some on your hand and weave it in. But you have already some beautiful, fluffy, stretchy slime. Looks like this. Wow, look at that. My Girl Scouts would be so proud of me. So now that your slime is formed, I would actually recommend putting it back in the cup for you to put your food coloring in. And the reason is that, especially if you're using gel food coloring, it can potentially cause some stains on clothing or on hands before it's really incorporated into the slime. So just to err on the side of caution, I like to keep it in this cup. So I have some purple and some pink food coloring that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to put a little bit. The gel food coloring, a little tiny bit goes a long way. So I just put a little drop of purple, and then always put the cap back on. You never know when this is going to spill out. And then now we're going to put a little bit of the pink in. And they're actually neon purple and neon pink, so I'm excited to see how this turns out. All right, so now my colors are in here, and I'm just gonna start folding my slime together like this so that those colors start blending together. And once they're a little incorporated into your slime, it is okay to take this back out and start kneading it. So that's what I'm gonna do. So as you can see, there's just some dots of food coloring at this point, and now I'm gonna start stretching it like this. And if you find that you want a darker color or a little more food coloring, it's always okay to add that. I'm finding that these colors I just used are a little pale, so I'm gonna add a little bit more, put it back in my cup, and get my colors back out. And once again with slime, you know, it's one of those things where you can always add more, but you can never take anything out. So I would rather have to keep going back to add more coloring than to put too much in and have it be a color I don't want. So I've added some more, and now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna fold it in so that I don't directly touch my hands onto the drops of food coloring. And then I'll pull it back out and start kneading again. So as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit darker. And I don't know if you can tell, but the colors are very much sort of stripy together. So the pink and the purple haven't entirely mixed. And that's kind of what gives it this galaxy illusion. Let me see if I can get a light on this to show you a little better. So yeah, so you can kind of see how it started getting purple. And again, the amount of food coloring you'll need, it totally just depends on whatever kind of food coloring you're using. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. And I'm gonna start mixing it again. And wow, this slime has turned out really great. Great texture, great stretch. It doesn't pull apart when you stretch it like this, which is something that you really want out of your slime. So now this is about the color that I like to see. It's a little blue, a little purple. And this is the point at which I would add in my biodegradable glitter if I wanted to. Again, I highly recommend using biodegradable glitter. It's just better for the planet. And so I've set some aside here. I use gold to represent my stars. So I'm just gonna sort of set some in the middle of the slime like this. And this is a part where you need to be careful because glitter is very messy. And if you're not careful, you could spill it everywhere. So once I've done that, I just fold the slime over my glitter, and just like we did with the food coloring, I'm gonna stretch it in. Okay, so just like this, I'm stretching it. Be careful. And now I'm starting to see the glitter come through. And I'll get this light on here again just so you can see a little bit better. All right, so let's get this light so you can see that there's some glitter in there. It's a little bit tricky to see in this lighting, but again, nice and stretchy, nice and bluish purple, and now you've got something that represents your gorgeous stars. And this will last for at least a few days if you keep it enclosed when you're not playing with it. But eventually, because it is, based, the base is glue, so eventually it will dry up. But you have a few days to play with it and enjoy it before that'll happen. So yeah, I hope that you Girl Scouts have a great STEM week, and I hope you enjoy your Galaxy slime. Bye-bye.
Hi there, Samantha from the Girl Scouts of Western New York. I am Lead Community Partnership Specialist, and I work out of the Jamestown office, and today we are going to be making some edible slime. So the first thing you need to do is get a bag of marshmallows, and you're going to dump your marshmallows into a microwave-safe bowl, and you're going to microwave for 30 seconds. Keep an eye on it because you might need a little bit more or a little bit less. So if you can see mine right here, they need a little bit more microwaving. So I'm going to throw these back in here, just like this. And keep an eye on them because you don't want them to burn, but you just want them to melt enough. This is a great recipe for your girls who love slime because they can eat it and they can play with it. It's super sticky and super messy, but it's really, really fun for them, and it's a great way to get your girl outside of her comfort zone. So I just microwave again for a little longer, and if you can see right here, they're a little more melty than before. So you want them really gooey. Very, very, very gooey is what we're looking for. And then you're going to add, it's one whole bag of marshmallows, and you're going to add in a 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of oil. I personally am using vegetable oil because that's what I have on hand. Coconut oil, any other kind of oil that you like or you enjoy to keep in your kitchen or whatever you have on hand is perfectly fine. And so you're going to add in that oil, and you're just going to stir it up. Stir it up really, really, really well. And then we're going to add in about a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. And you're going to add it in really slowly. And you want to stir while you're doing it. Make sure we get it all out of there. And then we're going to stir it up really, really, really well. You don't want to stir too fast because we don't want to send powdered sugar flying everywhere. But give it a good stir. So what you're going to do is you're going to wait for the recipe to cool down a little bit. The marshmallows tend to get a little bit hot in the microwave, so you just stir it and then give it a few minutes to cool down. And then once it has cooled down, I'm going to grab I have another bowl of marshmallows and slime that's ready to go. And so once you're ready to go, you're going to throw this back, and you're going to add whatever kind of edible slime you want. These sprinkles are wonderful. The girls love them. It's just like glitter in regular slime, but you have sprinkles in your edible slime. And so I don't know if you can you see this? Isn't it lovely? It looks very delicious, like cookie dough, or maybe that like funfetti icing. And then I would just let it rest for a moment. And for your girls, like when you have them eat this, what I would do for you is take a little bit of the vegetable oil and put a little on your hands, just so you oil your hands up. And then you're gonna go right in and grab your slime. And see, this is still very, very warm, so it's super sticky. But when you add that oil and you let it cool down, it's gonna be very solidified, and your girls can eat it. And look how pretty this looks. Your girls will love it, I promise. So that's how you make edible slime at home with marshmallows, oil, and powdered sugar. Thanks for tuning in to Trefoil TV, and we hope to see you soon.